Hey, Brandon Ruley's with us from Storm Track 360, and we're going to talk about what's up with weather.
Okay.
And we'll find out more about that and how he's penetrating all kinds of media markets and going into a weather pattern right now. So we'll find out all about that. Stick around, stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Around the Table. You know, we had some weather in the middle part of the week, and it was kind of odd for all of us because I'm saying, what is that stuff's falling out of the sky there? It's kind of weird. I haven't seen that for a while. But we had some rain, and had some thunderstorms overnight.
Certainly.
And it's kind of reminiscent of what happened back during the tornado season.
I know. All of a sudden,
run
just
through. But we decided we wanted to get Brandon Ruley in the studio. And Brandon, you brought your wife.
Yes, I'd like to introduce my wife, Pamela Ruley. She has co-hosted Storm Track 360 several times this year when the other guys are unavailable. Of course, with their full-time jobs. Y'all know Tanner, of course, is the full-time firefighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Pam, when she's not in front of the camera with us, she monitors and helps behind the scenes with monitoring the chat, storm reports, social media messages. I call her our Storm Track 360 Operations and Support Manager.
She's got a fancy title. And
oh,
I think
yeah,
she
absolutely. I want people to know that behind us guys, there's a very important lady.
Well,
you go.
it sounds like she's excited about being a part of it. Is that right, Pamela? Okay. Yeah. Are you a weather nerd like all these other guys?
Maybe not quite so much, but it is super interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I mean,
Well,
you got to
he's
have that passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, she when we're working, of course, we have an F5 underground shelter at the studio, which is located at our home. When we remodeled our home, we had the studio built, and she makes sure that the tornado shelter is ready in case we have to do what's called evac. If we're live on the air and a storm is dangerous and could hit where our studio is, we'll hit a button, the radar will stay up, and there's a voice that repeats that North Harrison is under a severe, dangerous storm and that we have an evac to take shelter. So obviously, if we're taking shelter, I hope you do too.
Yeah.
Right. But, if someone's just tuning in, I don't want them staring at a blank radar screen. I want them to have some information of why we're not on camera.
Yeah.
So,
you guys are taking this seriously. I mean, a lot of people are just like, well, we're just hobby people. But you guys are really...
You're legit.
Yeah.
He means business.
Well, I've been doing this over 36 years now.
So it's in your blood.
It's in my anxiety and wanting to be prepared. Because I told y'all the story about being in school when I was and got hit by the tornado at Bergman School. So that's where it all started.
Yeah.
But as far as updating everyone on what's going on with Storm Track 360, we have had several people reach out to us in the community and say, hey, I'm not tech savvy, or my mom and dad's not tech savvy. They don't know how to find you guys when you're live on the air.
Right.
And it was recommended that we reach out to Hometown TV, K26 Harrison, and XL7 Mountain Home, because they're local.
Yep.
And they're really big on community.
Right.
And anyway, I went and I had a couple meetings with them, exchanged some emails. And what it comes down to, and I'm going to tell a quick story about Pam's mom, and I don't want to embarrass her, but she's a good example. She comes over to the house with her smartphone. My phone ain't running right. I can't remember how to get on when storms are hitting, and I'll open her phone up, and she's got 87 browsers in the background running, 17 apps. And a lot of people don't know to shut that stuff off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your phone won't stream. It won't work. It's running slow. And she told me one night, she got a hold of Pam, and she says, hey, I know storms are hitting. I can't remember how to get on the YouTube smart TV and find you guys.
Too complicated.
It's too complicated. Yeah. So they start flipping through the TV channels, and, of course, they have antenna, and 26.1 Hometown TV would be quick and easy to find, and there's so many people I hear that from. So moving forward, we have when we go live, I have a group message set up. I notify the members over at Hometown TV, tell them what's going on. here's our stream, it's live. And then they make a decision based on scheduling, based on the severe criteria, if they want to go ahead and break in and carry that live for us. Now, in my experience, as you all know, we did not go live unless it was life-threatening.
Right.
And that changed because people said, hey, you know it's life-threatening, but I'm scared. My dog is scared. My kids are scared. My mom and dad are scared. So we made a decision that we go live even with special weather statements because, you know, lightning, thunder, wind, it's dark outside. These people are terrified, especially after the May tornadoes.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now I go live just to give them that calm. You know, hey, guys, this isn't life-threatening, but we could have some, you know, small hail. We're going to have a lot of lightning and thunder. And that brings me up to, you know, the last time we had gone live, of course, was the morning of October 31st, a little after midnight. We started, you know, I was putting information out on our Facebook page. Hey, potential severe weather. We're looking at models. It's going to be a late night storm. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings. And until October 31st, we had not been on the air since August 28th. So over 2 months.
Right.
There was nothing. And I got some information on the drought information and, you know, kind of how dry it was. But what happened is we received information that tornado warning had been issued by the National Weather Service on our wire system. So we went live.
Right.
And we started tracking immediately when we came on the air. Prairie Grove, they're just southwest of Fayetteville. We were seeing that rotation. The National Weather Service made a decision to drop the warning. We stayed on it because I was like, hold on a minute. I disagree here. And I do a lot of times, but you know, they've got the whole state, and we got multiple National Weather Service offices working. So we stayed on it, and about 6 minutes, I think, into the broadcast of us covering it, and with what we were getting from chat, because since Sheriff Cladd at Carroll County said, hey, Brandon, can you go live at the Oklahoma line?
So you got people on the ground.
Yeah.
Spotters.
Right. And give people more time for Carroll and Madison counties to get ready. So now we're picking up a lot of viewers in Benton and Washington. But we started seeing a debris signature. And we did get confirmation a tornado did touch down in the Prairie Grove area. We got it last night. It was classified as an EF1.
Wow.
3-mile track, 200 miles wide, and it went across there in the Prairie Grove area. So right where we said it was.
It was.
Wow.
It was. Just like
although the National Weather Service didn't hang in there.
They didn't hang in there, but they came back around a few minutes later and got those warnings back.
Right, they did. Good.
Yeah. So
well,
that's the whole point. You want to warn people.
Yeah. National Weather just they have a blanket.
It's very broad.
Yeah, it's very broad, I think, in some of the forecasts we have.
And those storms, you know, I mean, it's nighttime, and we're just relying on radar. And I don't know, you know, they had that broader line coming across Oklahoma, so I think a lot of their focus is over there because Washington and Benton counties under Tulsa, so they've got that big, long line going all the way across the state they're monitoring. So we only had the attention on the Washington County storm.
Right.
So, you know, that could have been a factor. But,
sure.
You know, it was amazing. We ended up with over 5,000 views on all of the social streams.
Well, you're getting known that, you know, and that's a good thing because more people. All that does is plaster all the information out there.
It is,
to multiple people,
and people have really come to rely on us, and that's why I'm super excited about our partnership with Hometown TV because, you know, I so many times get people saying, Mom and Dad don't know how to use YouTube.
Right.
Even if they have a smart TV, I don't know how to find you on there.
Right.
So people know, you know, Cox Cable Channel 843. They know, you know, Antenna 26.1. So I really think the community is going to respond great to this.
Well, at least you could warn that one person that's really in danger.
Absolutely.
It could be one person that you're warning.
Absolutely, because, I mean, even, you know, we get a lot of behind-the-scenes private messages, even on this storm that was coming through, because we stayed live. Even though we had no more tornado warnings, we had special weather statements through the early morning hours of October 31st, you know, and people tell us, said, thank you so much. You know, because of you, I was calm. You know, because of you, I knew what was going on. You told us what we were going to hear outside in the darkness, and you made us all feel safe. Yeah. You know, and you know, I didn't think about that when I used to just go live for life-threatening. So.
Right.
So, it's important the community feels like it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They hear those rumbles of thunder.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be there.
And a reliable source.
And a reliable source.
Right.
Well, you guys are doing an awesome job.
I
we commend
appreciate
you
it.
for that.
As far as the drought information goes, I got some information here. July, our normal rain average is 3.6 inches, and we did great in July. We ended up with 7.1 inches for that month. And then August is where the problem started. We have a 3.4 inch average for August rain totals, and then we were only at 2.2 for the month. And then September rolls around. The September averages are 4 inches, and we were only at 0.35 inches for the month.
Yeah.
And then, of course, October, the average normally is 3.6 inches, and we had a trace until those storms on October 31st.
Right.
And the airport reported receiving 2.5 inches when those storms came through.
Okay.
So that was where the drought issues came. I mean,
Yeah.
it got dry. And
Now, I did see where
wildfire danger.
the burn ban was lifted.
Yep.
I read conflicting information on that yesterday.
Well, I've seen several fire chiefs are putting information out of maybe we're going to lift that burn ban with the rain, but let's still be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that this ground is really dry.
Yeah. Sure.
So that only so much water can soak in. It's going to go downhill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's hope for more rain, which it looked like maybe we were going to get.
And that's something I was going to tell you guys about here. Of course, we have severe weather potential. Some call it our second severe weather season, is what a lot of weather people's calling it right now. We're going into our second severe weather season, which we have every year, even though we've had this drought. But now Mother Nature is turning up the volume here. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather, and this could be upgraded, and possibly a slight risk for our area for Monday and Tuesday.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're monitoring the chance of severe weather based on the Storm Prediction Center analysis and models. Now, we have something you guys may never have heard of. It's called the WPC. It's called the Weather Prediction Center. And what they do is monitor excessive rain concerns and like snow. And they have placed us under Sunday. We're under a moderate and slight risk for Northwest Arkansas. And Monday, we're under a slight risk with the possible chance of an upgrade to a moderate risk for excessive rain for our area, because they think that we could potentially be getting like 3 to 6 inches.
Which would be great if it didn't all come at once.
So flood concerns now is potentially something we're looking at.
Wow.
And then looking forward, of course, the potential for severe weather and excessive rain fall, and all modes of severe weather might be possible Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, especially Monday and Tuesday with tornadoes, large hail, winds. So we have Storm Track 360. We're going to be monitoring and ready to go live if we need to. And I'll be communicating, of course, with our new partners, Hometown TV, and they might be carrying us this next go-around. But also, at the end of the week, I was looking at, and of course, a lot can change, but Friday, November 8th, and Saturday, November 9th, we have the severe potential, again, for severe weather. Depending on how the front and whether it goes north or south and tracking. So that's
Mother Nature's just going to go, I slighted you, and here we are.
And now I've got several different topics. I didn't know where y'all wanted to go. Of course,
I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Since we've got a lot of information, and this is very, very timely, and I think it's important. It's breaking news for people that want to feel safe, and
absolutely.
And we've got different ways we can tell them that. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Brandon and Pamela Ruley from Storm Track 360, and we'll a lot of great information here. We'll continue with that right after this. Brandon and Pamela Ruley, and they're with Storm Track 360.
Yeah.
And I abruptly cut you off because I really wanted to give people a breather.
Right.
So we could
soak it in.
So we could soak some of this information in. Go ahead with what you were talking about.
Okay. Moving forward, one of the things we get a lot of confusion about, and when I'm live on the air, I've actually made an audio message now because I have to say this so much. people see, they'll watch the nightly news with the weather, and they'll see these models and these future casts they show. And I think they get this misconception that we can tell them, hey, this storm's going to hit Tuesday at 8:27 p.m. at Bergman.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Those models give us a general idea within about a 50-mile radius. So when you're seeing that little cell and it's sitting on Harrison, well, that cell may be in Fayetteville, or it may be in Conway.
Right.
So, so many times when I'm on the air, people ask if a storm in Oklahoma or a storm in Fayetteville is going to hit Harrison or Bergman or Mountain Home and what time. We don't have that technology, and I don't think we ever will. If we had that technology, we would evacuate these areas hours or days in advance, and we just can't do that. So, storms can form, they weaken, they intensify, they can collapse and cause the microbursts, which is wind damage when they fall apart. They can change direction, or new storms can form in an area. So if you just jump on our live stream and you see, hey, there's a storm in Fayetteville, they immediately start saying, is that going to hit Bergman? We don't know if that same storm will be around for 20 or 30 more minutes. So I have to get on there, or they'll say, what do you think? And I'm like, I ain't going down that road.
Yeah.
I'm never going to question Mother
Weather
Nature.
is unpredictable.
Who keeps typing? I mean, who keeps, talking to people while you're doing all this? You?
We have the chat. I've got 6 screens in our studio.
I'm like, dadgum, how do you keep up?
And we've got a system called Restream, and we're on 6 social platforms: X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Kick, Rumble, and it takes all this chat and it puts it on one screen for us.
Gotcha.
And you can ask Pam. It gets very busy.
Well, that's what I would think. You're trying to track a storm and trying to talk about that, and then how do you take time to read all that?
That's why
You've got a
it's
team.
so important to have a team of other people. We have 2 other workstations outside of my console, and that's what they try to help with. So I would like to try to remind people that watch the stream. You can't jump on, watch it 30 seconds, see what's going on, and then just assume, okay, well, it's nowhere near me. During a severe weather event, we can go from no storm to a storm with a tornado on the ground in 7 minutes.
And it won't be visible.
Wow.
Sometimes I've seen those radars where it just pops up out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, and quick. And very quick. And, that brings me to, a lot of people think, why are we under a watch but no storms form?
Right.
Or maybe there's a watch here, but the storms end up forming outside of that watch. And of course, the Storm Prediction Center can only go by what these computers think with those models that they shoot out. So, it comes down to, what do you need for severe weather to form? You need 3 things. You got to have moisture, which is warm, humid air.
Okay.
You've got to have instability. That's a significant temperature difference between the ground and the high altitudes. And then you have to have a lifting mechanism. And they're like, what's a lifting mechanism? I'm thinking of a jack. No, that's like a front, wind shear, a cold front, a dry line. That's the triggering mechanism. And then, of course, wind shear contributes to severe weather and can cause rotation, which, I wrote a thing on here. It says rotation. When winds at different altitudes blow in different directions, it can create a rotating motion within the storm, which is a key factor in tornado formation. Instability, the atmosphere must be unstable, meaning the air at the surface is warmer than the air aloft. It's like baking a cake. You can bake that cake 5 times, twice, your family loves it. The other 3 times, it just didn't mix right, and you got to throw the cake away. So the layer of the atmosphere that we live in and experience weather in gets colder with height. So, if it's 70 degrees here at the ground, as you go higher, it gets colder.
Sure.
This allows air that is warmed at the surface to rise and cool, condense, and that creates clouds. The rising air needs to be uninhibited. In other words, you can't stop it for severe weather to occur. The cap, you've probably heard that, the cap is weak. So people are like, what is a cap? Well, think of a lid on a teapot. That you're boiling the water, all that steam's inside, you've got a lid on it. The cap, which is a layer of warm air sitting between 3,000 and 7,000 feet above us, prevents that from happening. So I actually put that on here. Think of it like steam rising from a boiling pot of water. If you have the lid on tight, steam can't escape the pot and rise up. But once you take that lid off, all that collected steam rushes upward. The stronger the cap, the harder it is for thunderstorms to develop. And boom, there's your clouds. It's kind of that same scenario.
Yeah.
It's got to get.
Is that why
lid
you
out
see
of
it flat?
Yeah.
So far up? Is that
and
the
at
reason
some
for that?
point, that can be some type of temperature capping.
Okay.
That's why sometimes the storms only go 20,000 feet tall, and sometimes they're up 40,000 feet
All right.
tall. So the cap is extremely critical in severe weather forecasting. It's a battle is waged between the rising air and the cap. If the air cannot overcome the cap, the risk of severe weather is lower. However, if the air can punch through that cap, kick that lid off the teapot, severe storms develop.
Well,
and that's hard to forecast. Mother Nature, all of our technology, it's really storm spotters. They can start seeing that, and you start seeing those little speckles on the radar. That's some signs that it's trying to break that cap, and those storms are trying to push that.
so they know what's going to happen when they see the evidence of it, but they can't predict what it's going to do.
When or exactly where.
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, and then of course the other thing I brought with us, and I didn't know which you might be interested in, is tornado myths. There's a lot of misconceptions. I can tell you how many times, and lightning myths. These are things that people, sadly, Grandma and Grandpa, several years ago, they would tell us these things, I think, maybe to make us feel better, so we wouldn't be scared at night. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the technology we do of today, but as young adults and we grow older, sometimes I think we get some of that stuff in our head and we can't get it out of our head. Mm-hmm. So the National Weather Service, I told y'all before about storm stories. That was a way to try to bust some of these myths. But I brought some of the most common myths that I address with people in our area. And
Now, these are for people that have asked you questions, I'm sure.
Asked privately, out in public, during the live stream. These are the most common misconceptions that people get. Like, for example, here's the question. Tornadoes never strike the same place twice. True or false?
I'd say false.
I'd say false.
Tornadoes have hit the same areas multiple times. It says Cordell, Kansas was struck by a tornado on May 20th, 3 years in a row in 1916, 1917, and 3 tornadoes hit the same church the same day.
Dadgum.
So
yes,
of course
the answer is yes, it can.
So they're
an astounding yes.
Then you get the big cities and their tall buildings protect people from tornados. That's false. No, I mean downtown areas have been hit. We've got video of that happening. I live near a large lake or a big pond of water. My house is safe. Is that true or false? Obviously, that's false. Tornadoes aren't affected by a tornado or a lake.
Right.
That's something. And then, of course, this is the most common one. I really wanted to make sure we got this one out there. Is my house is below a hill or a mountain or between 2 hills. I get so many people in our community says, "Oh, well, my house is over in such and such. I've got hills on both sides of me. We don't worry about it." Well, this last tornado in May should bust that myth. It will go right down the valley, up one side, the top, and right down the other. We've got, they're talking about, Yellowstone. The mountains in Yellowstone have tornadoes went down one side and thousands of feet up and right back down.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of information.
I think it can
like
do
that.
anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Before we leave, I wanted to. You provide such a phenomenally deep service for a lot of people. How do you get paid back from this? Do you offer a way for people to invest in what you do?
Well, when we originally did this, it was just a community service,
Right.
a donation
Right,
we were
right.
doing out of our own pockets. And as it's grown, the cost, of course, of being able to reach so many people's gone up. So we actually had people from churches, and Pam was getting contacted by people privately and says, "How can we donate to this?"
Mm-hmm.
So we built the stormtrack360.com website with all the free radars and stuff, and you'll see a button that says donate. And you can make a one-time donation, or you can set up a donation subscription of even $5 a month.
All right.
And then you get a receipt, and you can write that off on your taxes. And then the next month, if you want to donate, you can change that, stop it. It's super. You have full control.
They can customize it.
Customize it ever how they want.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
Visit their store. There's all. You just go to their website.
We have merchandise, stormtrack360.com, lots of stuff. And the last thing, if I can throw it out there, is are you safe from lightning in your home? That's a yes and no. And what the storm
it sure got my stuff.
Right. Well, the Storm Prediction Center says that if you're caught inside your home, you are safe as long as you are not touching plumbing. So don't go take a shower during a storm with lightning.
Okay, well,
don't be on an old phone line, like we used to have years ago. Some houses still have them. Don't be touching metal or near your doors and windows, something that can conduct, electricity, because that lightning can still get you in your home.
Oh boy!
So just stay away from plumbing and wires or anything that's coming from the outside in.
What about car? Are you safe in a car?
Car, you're a lot safer in your car than you will be if you get outside.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
And Pamela.
And Pamela, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate you very much.
I don't want severe weather to happen here, but if it does, we'll know where to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I have my whole life scheduled around with my own business, that I can always be there for our community with severe weather.
Well, you're going to have to come back. You know that, right?
I love coming in and talking
to
you.
Okay. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. We are getting ready for the weekend.
Yep.
Lots to do this weekend.
Is there?
And it looks like we're going to have a little rain, too. So, batten down the hatches.
It's happening.
I know everything there is to know about weather now after Brandon Ruley and Pamela were here.
Do you?
So,
are you feel like you're educated and ready to?
Well, I'm going to just start touting everything. I know highs and lows. I'm going to say highs and lows and everything, and caps.
You're just going to throw the words out?
Yeah.
And hope for the best?
Yeah, that's how you impress people. You just get big words and
okay,
just pretend you know what you're talking about.
Okay.
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 Anyway, you know what today is?
Well, I was going to tell you.
Tell me about it.
All Saints Day. The day after Halloween is always All Saints Day. And the Christian holiday remembers loved ones who have died. Tomorrow is All Souls Day.
Oh,
and not because of all the shoes you've lost. That's a different soul, people. National Brush Day, the day after Halloween. When dentists remind you those 8 mini Snickers you wolfed down in the car are not going to unstick from your molars on their own. Take care of your teeth, people. Just take care of your teeth.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Diwali?
Diwali?
What is that?
Today is the start of Diwali, the 5-day Festival of Lights, another celebration we should probably take off for, celebrated by the world's Hindus and Sikhs and the Buddhist. Spiritual celebration is the symbol of the victory of good over evil and knowledge over ignorance.
Okay. Do you know what prime meridian is?
Prime meridian. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
The imaginary line that divides the planet into east and west. Once they established zero latitude, they could start making the world's time zones. Without that, we'd all still be setting our clocks to local sunset time.
Weed.
Okay. We would.
Weed.
That's what it says. Weed.
Yeah. World Vegan Day. Did you know that according to the UN, less than 1% of the world's population considers itself vegan? That's about 80 million people.
Wow.
It's believed that the U.S. has the most vegans.
Well, maybe they can eat better than some of the crap. I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know.
National Jersey Day, Black Entrepreneurs Day, and first day of Butterball Turkey Talk Line.
I bought my turkey. Go me.
You already bought your turkey?
Yeah, I did.
For Thanksgiving?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's in the freezer.
It's in the freezer.
I thought you were putting it on the table.
No,
Dan. Letting
no.
it cure.
Tomorrow's Cookie Monster Day and National Deviled Egg Day. I made some quite tasty deviled eggs. And then tomorrow's the end of daylight savings time.
Oh, turn your clocks. Go
backwards. Fall back.
Spring ahead. Fall back.
Fall back.
All right. Extra
see y'all
hour
Monday.
of sleep. All right. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you Monday.